This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Bobbi English, I'm telling you, this is so exciting for me that I've gotten you finally to Cookeville. You are the Vice President, U.S. Television for Sesame Workshop, and that is the parent work of Sesame Street.
That's
that
right.
Everybody knows.
That's right. I'm so happy to be in Cookeville after hearing about all your good work all these years. I'm finally here.
We're so
Thank
excited
you for inviting
you're
me.
here. You know what? You do so much. Sesame Street is an iconic children's television series, and of course PBS has been its home for how many?
46 years. We'll
46.
be 46 years this fall.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. That's so exciting.
Yeah. If you're 50 or under, you're a Sesame Street kid in this country. So,
That's right.
Yeah. Members of Congress are Sesame kids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
how about that? That's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
There's
it's
a
interesting.
definite connection there. You know, and Sesame Street, I think people in our country know that it's in this country, but it's international.
That's right. We're in 120 countries. And many of those shows are original co-productions. That's not my expertise, but we'll go into a country and we'll check out the needs of the preschoolers there and actually train Muppeteers on site to do a whole new show there. So it's not just Sesame Street America coming to the whole world. We have individual co-productions, which is really great.
Yes, because then it deals with that country's culture and language. And what a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it's terrific.
I
It's
love
terrific.
that. I love that. So Sesame Street, how has your role in children's educational television sort of grown? How has that changed?
Well, 46 years in 1969, we were the only one, and Mr. Rogers, and you know, it was a small playing field. So now the playing field has a lot of characters. So
Right.
it's important to stay vibrant in that group of other children's shows and to just really differentiate what we have, not only Sesame Street, but PBS Kids and local PBS stations like WCTE have that differentiates us from the rest of the children's media.
Well, it does, right? Because
Right.
you have that local national connection. And you
Absolutely.
work a lot with local stations.
99% of my job is working with local stations. I absolutely love it. So we come in and we're, you know, as you know, the point person for if you need a character, if you need Elmo to come, what you need locally is what we're all about, because it's that local national partnership is how we really reach the kids.
Now, Sesame Street has really tackled some tough issues. Divorce, death and dying, incarceration, deployment of military families. There's just been a whole variety. And even on that positive side of healthy lifestyles, Cookie Monster started eating, you know, vegetables.
Broccoli,
right? Yeah.
Broccoli. He eats broccoli. He still eats cookies, though.
Okay.
He absolutely still eats cookies. No, you're right. We have a whole team of education outreach people who are always on top of what's happening to today's preschoolers, because obviously what was happening in the 60s is different than that's happening now. Food insecurity is a big deal in this country. There are a lot of children who don't have enough food to eat or have the wrong kind of food to eat. So we do tackle these issues: incarceration, divorce. You brought up some of the heavy ones,
Right.
military family deployment. So we have all these kits and all this information available on our website and on the PBS Kids website. So if anybody out there is dealing with one of these, struggling with one of these issues with their preschoolers, it's all age appropriate, very safe, but it is about these issues. Important to say, though, the general show that you air
Yes.
is not going to tackle dad going to prison or mom not having enough food for the family. Those issues are going to be addressed separately and targeted. But there really is a need. Not every child's life is blissfully perfect.
Right.
And so as an organization, we really think our role and feel our role with the local station is to serve the have-nots, serve the kids who are going through stuff and hopefully help them through that. So when they get to school, they're ready to learn. They're not falling behind because they have stigma of a parent being incarcerated or stigma because they don't have enough food to eat. But we also have a lot of information about oral health, healthy lifestyles.
Right.
Just
Diabetes?
Diabetes, yeah. and also asthma. And what was the other one I was going to say? Oh, our latest is Let's Get Ready, which is sort of an interesting disaster kind of thing, but it's very age appropriate. It's sort of like make your family disaster plan for natural disasters like tornadoes or, God forbid, other kinds of disasters. But it's all in the vein of talk to your kid about what your name is. Your name's not mommy and daddy, so they need to know their name,
really good.
what their phone number is, what their address is, where the meeting place is outside the house. So it's very age appropriate. And there's a free app. If you go to our website, it'll guide you to that. So
Now, you
we
guys-
do wrestle with those hard issues.
Well, and that's important though, because I did visit with someone from TEMA and FEMA who say that in a natural disaster or a public safety emergency, for every dollar you spend in preparedness, you save $10 in an emergency, and you save lives, which is the key.
Right, it's the
So
key.
the idea is to change behavior. So
Right.
if you're addressing this topic before you need it,
Right.
you will change behavior.
Right.
So that's
And
good.
we also have some resources on after a disaster might happen and how preschoolers might be feeling differently, feeling fear, and how to talk to your children about that. So that's important too, because not all parents know what to say to their preschooler.
Right.
Some of us ignore what's going on, and some
Right.
of us talk too much about it. So it's a real step-by-step guide of how parents can help their kids that way. And it's all researched with education experts, PhDs, and people who know kids best. So we're not going to do anything that's not age appropriate, but we are going to be there for kids who need us.
Right. And I think that's key. Sesame Street is absolutely my favorite show on television.
Well, thank
I
you. I'll
love
tell
that
the
show.
producers.
I love that show. And it's so multi-level. Adults love it because it's got those fun little nuances. And the children, it's so great for children because it is very, very research curriculum based as to what they need and how they need to learn.
We want to stay on two levels because, we know a 3-year-old isn't going to know who One Direction is.
Right.
But their mom or dad might.
Right.
And so then maybe they'll sit down next to them and maybe they'll share that experience together. And then there'll be more learning with the co-viewing together. And so we just want to appeal to moms and dads who want to be more part of their kids' lives. We realize sometimes the kids are just there, but it's nice if we do something that appeals to mom and dad too. So we like to have at those levels.
So Sesame Street definitely has a strategy for early learners.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the strategy is, as you and I both know, not every preschooler has access to high quality preschool education. We're a country where there's pre-Ks in some districts and there's not in others, and we're a country where some kids' parents have money to send them to quality daycare and some of them don't. Television is the great equalizer, and Sesame Street and PBS Kids. PBS Kids is the largest classroom in our country. So these preschoolers who don't have access to quality preschool education can get ready to school with the help of a loving parent or caregiver just by tuning in the right programs and knowing what's going on, maybe getting some of the resource materials on the website. There's tons of support materials, not only for our show, but also PBS Kids. And they can really have a rich learning environment, not just a relax while mom takes a shower kind of thing.
Right.
But they can really get ready for kindergarten. And all the research suggests that graduation rates are set pretty early in our kids' lives. And
Right.
being ready for kindergarten and being on grade level when you begin, if you have to catch up by 3rd or 4th grade, it's really difficult in this country for children to get ahead if they're already behind. So, the great thing is we have universal access to all these children. So
Yes, and it's and because of public television, it is universal access. You don't have to have cable or satellite.
absolutely,
you
you
can
don't
just
have
have an
cable,
antenna.
you don't have to have satellite, you don't have to do anything
Right.
except know where to find it and give it to your child.
And because we live in a multi-platform environment as far as you are available on multiple platforms, on the web, on the phone.
Right, absolutely. So, most of us grew up with a television, but now we have iPads and mobile phones and all kinds of devices. And so we just want to be where the kids are. And if that means they're in the back seat while mom or dad are driving around doing errands, there's the pass back of the iPhone or the iPad. And learning can happen anywhere. It doesn't have to be in front of a television or in a classroom. So definitely our strategy is to be on all of these devices. And some parents don't have the big iPad. Some of them have mobile phones. So plenty of apps and things that are out there. We just have to be everywhere for our kids.
Right.
We can't depend on just the sit back, tune in at exact time anymore,
Right.
like how we grew up.
Right.
But yeah, so we'll do all we can to get to them.
So Sesame Street really stays very current with their celebrities that come into the
Yes.
show. Do you have a favorite celebrity moment or a song? Or?
Well, you know, I don't, when I first got into public television, you know, the Bruce Springsteen, Baby, We Were Born to Add,
Yes.
you know, played every day or
Yeah.
most days. I really loved that.
I love that.
The celebrities now, you know, I have a 16-year-old, so I know some of them. But some of them I don't even know because they're so hot. A woman my age wouldn't know who they are.
Right.
But no, we do have a lot of celebrities, especially as they have children and want to experience it with their children and be a part of it. It's really great. I mentioned One Direction. That was a
Right.
very cool thing this
How cool.
year. Yeah. So
I hadn't thought about the fact that because it's in its 46th season, you would have return celebrities who would then have.
oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely, it's like Saturday Night Live, right?
Yeah.
You know, you come back. Yeah,
Right,
you can come
that's
back.
great.
Well, we're happy to have you if you're a hot celebrity and
Yeah.
cares about kids.
So how's it changed from that first episode to now?
Well, immensely. I mean, back in the 60s, there was a show called Laugh-In, as you may remember.
Right.
Which had all these pieces, and the idea was, you know, pieces of television, like a magazine kind of show. So you might remember the early days of Sesame, the street story was kind of spread out in those pieces. That's how people watch television. And then as we did more and more research, we found out that children were capable of a 10, 12-minute narrative of sitting down, a story arc. So we combine the street story. So that's one of the changes. But really the season changes every year. We call every season an experimental season. We're not afraid to change it. So we'll have characters who shine and then don't shine so much, and we'll have a new curriculum every year. So really, everything is tested before it goes on the air. So we'll put our show in front of the most important test group, the 3 and 4-year-olds.
Right.
Not only for appeal, we obviously want them to pay attention, but for learning. Did they catch that concept? We're not interested in just babysitting them. We're interested if they get, you know, what is the letter U? What is the number 3? So I think that's one of the big hallmarks of the show is we're not afraid to change. Everything's an experiment and everything gets retested. If it doesn't work, it's gone. I think if you looked at a show from 1970, you'd be shocked that it's the same show. And in fact, we hear that a lot from new moms when they have their children and they tune on the TV and they say, wow, this is Sesame Street. Yeah. Because it changes, you know.
Right.
We always are looking for the latest in animation techniques.
Right.
So we change with the times of technology too, 3D and HD set and all that. So it's significantly different. Some of the funny things that are different is, I like to tell people, is like Oscar the Grouch used to be orange. Yeah, stuff like that,
Really?
yeah. Big Bird had much fewer feathers. He wasn't as poofy. And so things like that changed too.
Yeah.
But we'll just keep changing. And hopefully we'll be around for another 46 years.
Absolutely. And whose vision was that? Whose vision was Sesame Street?
Well, Joan Gans Cooney, Mrs. Cooney, who still comes to work every day. We still see her.
Wow.
She wrote a grant and made it happen. Her idea was that kids are watching television and they can learn if they watch. And we're all the result of that. It's just a
great.
magical moment in the 60s where innovative thought and the creativity of Jim Henson came
Right.
together. So, you know,
And PBS.
I wish I would have been there.
Right.
Yeah. And PBS
PBS.
was there forming
Yeah.
its network at the time with all the individual stations. So yeah, it was really an amazing thing that happened, and we stand on
That's so
on tall
great.
shoulders. Right.
So you constantly do research then?
Oh, absolutely.
Constantly.
Absolutely, not just with the current show, but over time. So one of our biggest research studies show that if you watch Sesame Street when you were a preschooler, your GPA in high school is about 16% higher than a kid who never was exposed to Sesame Street. So we do long-term research as well, but short-term all the time. I mean, it's not uncommon to go in the office and there are preschoolers everywhere, or the research group is out in a classroom. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Every bit of it, including what you talked about, the heavy subjects too.
Right.
That we were talking about this earlier. Those are all researched so that they're a fit.
So what character has the biggest fan following?
Oh, I hate to pick favorites. It's like picking your favorite child.
Right.
Well, of course, if you're 3 or 4, Elmo's your rock star. He
Right.
just is. He loves you.
Yeah.
And
Unconditionally.
Unconditionally.
loves you.
And if you're 3, 4, 5, you get that and you feel Elmo love. As you get a little older, you kind of change. So Cookie Monster is enjoying a big run right now. Cookie
Wow.
with his, you can eat cookies and you can also eat broccoli. And this whole idea of delaying your gratification, learning how to go to school and sit. If you wait, you can have a cookie, that kind of thing.
Right,
So Cookie
right.
Monster, and he's hysterical. He's
Yes.
funny.
Yes.
The combination of Elmo and Cookie Monster is really great. Abby Cadabby, she's
Yeah.
a fairy. That's pretty cool.
Right.
So, yeah, Elmo's probably the top, but you talk to kids, they all kind of have a favorite. And
They have a
adults,
favorite.
yeah, adults do too.
Well, yeah, of course adults do.
Who's your favorite?
It'd have to be Elmo.
Yeah.
I think without a doubt it's probably Elmo. Although I really like Oscar. Just something about him.
Yeah.
that
We all
he's
have
just-
Oscar days.
Yeah, we all have
do.
Oscar days. So you got to appreciate that.
Yeah.
I just love it because it's very reflective of society in
Yeah.
many ways. Those characters are
Yeah.
people that you know and love.
Yeah. Well, and it's important to tell a child that it's okay to have an Oscar day if you feel kind of grumpy.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. It's what you're feeling that moment. It's genuine. Who you are is genuine. So.
Now, we've had a wonderful partnership over the years, and Stations of Imagination is a great free family event that was started here in the Upper Cumberland. We're hitting our 20th year.
Yes, congratulations.
Yes, thank you. And it really was because the Johnston family, Brian and Rena Johnston, wanted this as a memorial for their young son Sawyer, who passed away, and he loved Elmo and he loved Sesame Street. And there has always been a Sesame Street character at this event. And you have been a part of that with us, even though you've not been able to be here.
Yeah, and I'm so glad to be here. It's such a gift, isn't it?
It is
I
a
mean,
gift.
and that's how it works, this
Yeah.
national-local partnership.
Yeah.
Somebody from the community comes up and says, I want to share this part of my son's life with other kids.
Yes.
It's such a beautiful
Yes,
thing.
it is.
And so because of that, all the preschoolers who have come out for Stations of Imagination have met a character.
That's right.
Which in their world is a big, big deal. So I just applaud you and all the work you've done locally and the family for being there for those kids
Yes.
because they need that. They do.
It makes a difference for a child to see that character, isn't it? I mean, we've had almost
I think so.
all of them. Cookie Monster, and we've had Abby, and we've had Elmo several times, and Grover.
Yeah.
So it really does.
Oh, I think it does. Kids are just like us. They want
Yes.
to see their favorite people and their
Right.
stars and their celebrities.
Yeah.
And they have that picture to fondly remember when they grow
Right.
up, what they were thinking about when they were little, and hopefully when they're parents to share that with their children. And now, since we're 46, grandparents
Oh, sure.
who have had those experiences, sharing it with their grandkids, which is really an amazing thing if you think about it.
Yeah. Now, Bobbi, why did you get involved in public media? How did this start for you?
Oh, it's a long story, but my first public media job, I'm a station person too, so was in Toledo, Ohio, years ago. And my boss at the time made me do everything. It was a station much like yours. I mean, I really had to do, I edited film.
Oh,
I
wow.
ran camera, I directed, I switched, I did auction. We were talking about auction earlier. Pledge, on-air promotion, and then I became a programming assistant. So my background's sort of in TV programming, and then I worked in Maryland and in Washington, and I always liked kids programming, and so when the opening came up at Sesame, I was really excited to get it. So I've been there 14 years now.
Wow.
And it coincided with my family being young, and,
Right.
and it's been a real gift to be on that side of public media. But we all work together, and it's
Right,
just really
right.
great. So.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Wisconsin, So just south of Madison. which I
Another
love.
great public
Another great
television
public
state,
television
though.
state, yes.
Right.
Absolutely. Still have many relatives there, so yeah.
That's
yeah.
cool. And so where is Sesame Street's home? I know is it in New York?
Yes, it is. It is in Queens. Our studio is in Queens.
Wow.
So yeah, you ought to come out.
That's
Come out,
great.
yeah.
Do you ever have live tapings or anything where people can come and watch, or how does that work?
No, not open to the
They
public.
don't do that.
Mostly because of celebrities. You know, we'll have VIPs come in once in a while, but if you're a celebrity, you'll close down the set. But,
Yeah.
but
right.
it's really a special thing.
Oh, I
You can see
bet.
the stoop and Oscar's trash can. So yeah, it's
I
really,
may have to
come on
try
out.
that for
Come on
sure.
out. Exactly.
So we talk a lot at WCTE about having a caring and consistent adult with our American Graduate Project. And how important is that for children?
Oh, I think it's vital. I think it's extremely vital. I mean, unfortunately, not every kid has that.
Right.
And that kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier with The Great Equalizer. I mean, the television character can be part of a child's life that way. But no, I think it's really vital because you need a parent or a caregiver or a grandparent to be able to say, this is what's important. This is who we are as a family, and this is what I need you to do to get ready for school.
Right.
And then once you're in school, of course, to keep you working at it, and to put joy into it. You know, I mean, we talk so much about working for school and graduating, and sometimes I think it sounds like this heavy burden. But if you have a caring, consistent adult who you see reading and enjoying it, or watching an educational show, you know, Nova, and enjoying it, you're instilling in your child that love of learning, which you can't get anywhere else. And I think that that's key, is to make learning fun, and obviously that's part of the joking and the music of Sesame Street when you're young, but it doesn't have to stop when you get to school. Sometimes I think we make education too hard for kids. If we really made it fun, everybody would want to be in school all the time and keep going and never stop.
Right.
So I think that that's really important, not just a caring and consistent adult, but one who loves to learn and is inquisitive, not just with television, but about what's outside.
Right.
Yeah,
Now-
I would agree with that.
And as a parent, you had this sort of test case with your own children while you were working. How did you see your work influence your own children?
Well, I think that's just it. I mean, I obviously have a great time at my job.
Right.
And I hope I've influenced my girls to not only love learning, but to pick a career that they're going to enjoy, to pick a study, a field of study that maybe helps people, but also gives you some joy, doesn't feel like work. So I hope so. They're 16 and 23 now, so we'll see.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So they really were little toddlers when
Yeah.
you started with
Yeah,
Sesame.
yeah, they were young. They were young.
So what's next for Sesame Street?
Well, season 46 is going to be big next fall. So we start taping next week. So I'll be in New York doing that. So it'll be really great. Season 46.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you're on all these platforms. You got an award-winning website and
Oh yeah, let's talk about the websites because
Yeah.
if anybody wants to get the materials, sesamestreet.org, but also PBS Kids Sesame Street has coloring sheets you can print out, free materials, apps, games, full episodes, clips. I mean, you can really, as a mom, caregiver, just go nuts with the stuff we have on the website. It's really, really robust. So I want to make sure people know about that. And all the outreach projects, the tough subjects that we talked about earlier are on there too, if you have a special need for your child.
And no matter where someone lives, there is a public television station that's connected to their community, right?
Absolutely. Sometimes 2 or 3, depending on what your community is like. So
Right.
yeah, anywhere. We have universal access in this country, which is really terrific to say.
So we have about a minute left. Anything you want to share? Anything else you want to?
Well, just this idea of, I think a lot of people think Sesame Street is about letters and numbers. And originally that was a big part of it, and it still is a big part of it. But we've evolved to be a whole child curriculum. So we're about letters and numbers, but we're also about children, feeling confident, secure, And we really want to be the place where children come to grow smarter, not only smarter, but stronger and kinder. And we believe that there's a strong need for this in this country. And if we can each do our part, both nationally and locally, to help kids grow smarter, stronger, and kinder, we'll have a better country when they grow up. That's what it's all about. That's what keeps me going.
That's awesome. Well, listen, you are a delight. You are one of my favorite people in the whole world.
Oh, Becky,
and
thank
it
you.
is just a joy to have you. And thank you for 46 seasons of Sesame Street. We are such a better country because of that.
And thank you for delivering it to the kids once it gets to Cookeville.
Oh,
Thanks for having me.
More than welcome. We're glad you're here.
This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.